Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you see, I'm sitting in my basement, so that means we are talking business today. And please excuse my hair if it looks a little greasy. It's because it is greasy. We're basically talking about this concept of you get what's given to you, not what you deserve. Let's get into it. I have some pretty unconventional ideas about life and sort of how life works. And the thing is, I have so many questions that obviously can't be answered by anybody. It just like, these questions are never going to be answered. And because I don't have like concrete answers to them, I sort of like to come up with my own theories as to how things work. So essentially, I believe that we all have a path that is uniquely created for us, and everything aligns in our life, whether that's good or bad. If you want to know a little bit more about that, I actually have another video called The Sequence of Life. I do truly think that all the things that happen to us are it's all in a sequence, and sometimes it's hard for us to realize until we look back. But there's been so many instances in my life where I'm like, okay, these things did not just happen by chance. There's no way this is a coincidence. And I think that everything happens exactly when it needs to and how it needs to. But we're gonna kind of break down into sure, maybe everything happens exactly when it needs to, but why do things happen a certain way? So the way I see it, remember, this is my own personal opinion that I have told to other people. Some people completely agree, some people completely disagree. Some people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's absolutely nothing more to life. The way I see it, the universe is handing us cards at random from this big deck of cards. And these cards represent different things that can happen to us in our life, or different places that we can end up. So we're gonna get some good cards and some bad. Same thing when you're playing poker or something, whatever it is. When you're dealt your hand, yeah, you might have the best cards ever, or you might have shitty cards, and you don't choose those cards. Those cards are all random. If I pull out a deck of cards right now, 52 cards, I give you whatever, 8. There's a chance that you may get a really good hand. But another thing too that you have to remember is, depending on what type of game you're playing, your hand may be completely shit in one game but so good in another. What that means is maybe the life events that I'm going through, the challenges that I have are really detrimental to me in my life, but then maybe someone else who would have a very similar life to me or is going through the exact same things is able to get through them much easier. Or maybe the certain life that I was born in, maybe I'm lucky to be born in this very specific life, because if the same things happened to me in a different part of the world, or I was living in a different place, or I was a different person, maybe they would be extremely detrimental, and vice versa, right? Let's say you get a bad card or you get a good card. It doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve this good card or that you deserve this bad card, but it's more so that you just happen to be the person to get that card. You just happen to be part of a certain statistic. So what do I mean about, you're part of a certain statistic? So obviously, regardless of good or bad things that happen to you, for example, a good thing could be winning the lottery, or getting your dream job. A bad thing could be having a bad marriage or getting cancer or whatever it is. Obviously, somebody has to have good things and bad things happen to them. Somebody has to have cancer. Somebody has to have a bad marriage. Someone has to win the lottery. Someone has to die young. And the way that the world works is that you may end up being one of these things. And it's not that you deserve to be these things. It's not that you deserve to not be these things. It's just that's just what you were given. You were given this, and this is your outcome. That is just how it's handed to you. I think a lot of us feel like we're exempt from certain statistics, that we will never find ourselves in a situation where we become the statistic, where we become the person that dies of a very rare illness, or we become the person that, I don't know, becomes a celebrity, whatever it is. A lot of us don't think that we'll fall into those categories, and fair enough, because those statistics are really small. But the thing is, what exempts you from that? What exempts me from that? If we open our minds and say, okay, well, you know what? That's just how it goes, right? I don't know what's gonna happen to me today. I don't know what's gonna happen to me tomorrow. One day I may be part of the certain statistics, and it's not necessarily that I deserve to be in a bad situation, or maybe I don't deserve to be in a good situation, but that's just what I've been given, and then from there I have to work with it. This way of thinking has sort of helped me accept a lot of, the negatives in my life, and it's helped me get through certain events. Because if you're constantly thinking that life is cheating you, or that the world is cheating you, or everyone's against you, that won't take you anywhere, because life is not against you. Life is meant for you. The universe is doing things for you, and it may not make any sense, and it may, it may seem this is not how your life's supposed to be. But everyone's path, once again, is really unique. That's why it's really hard to compare ourselves to other people. Like, nothing's ever set in stone, and you can always change your life. Because yes, while I do think that we have sort of a path that's like set out for us, at the same time, I think that we are, fully capable of making our own decisions. If you really think about it, you always have a choice. In every single thing you do in your life, you have a choice. Like, you cannot tell me that you don't have a choice, because yes, you do. Sometimes you feel like your choices may be super limited. You still have the choice of how to react. So you have the freedom to then control your emotions, to control your perspectives. So we always have a choice. So if you're not happy with things in your life right now, obviously this is not going to apply to everyone, because some people are in extremely unique circumstances where they may not be able to create a better life for themselves or whatever it is. But for the most part, most people are able to create a better life. They're able to go down a better path. That's if they take control of their own life and they truly believe in themselves. When something like bad happens to me, or I'm going through a certain situation, or just not really feeling the best about where my life is headed, I literally say to myself, that's just how it was written. And whether I like it or not, that's just how my path was designed at this moment in time. And I have to then sort of move along from that. I have to continue on my path. I need to continue living my life and seeing where these things will take me. Because I think another issue too is, I can make another video about this as well, is that we all believe that we are superior to everyone else. And I know you might not like subconsciously believe that, but like you probably do. I did a research project on the illusory superiority complex, and it's basically where like the majority of people think that they're better than others. They're just better than others. They have a better personality. They're funnier. They're more attractive. They're whatever it is. But they don't necessarily have any concrete evidence to like support that. So I'm not saying that you are not necessarily better than others, but it depends what you're claiming to be better than. But because a lot of us, like, we feel really special, and myself included, sometimes I'm like, oh, like, there's no one else like me in the world. Like, why? Like, I should be sort of like free from all hardship, because like the type of person that I am. But when we actually break it down, like, I'm not more special than you, and you're not more special than me, and we're not more special than our neighbors. What's the difference between something bad happening to me, something bad happening to you, something bad happening to the person beside me? None of us are exempt from those things, as I mentioned before. There's nothing special about us that it's going to basically prevent us from living through bad life experiences. If it happens to us, then we were just chosen. I know this like probably sounds horrible, and I think a lot of people won't want to accept this type of, I guess, understanding, but I have yet to find something that like comforts me as much. And I know, like, realistically, you don't even have to be thinking about these things. Like, nobody really has to sit down and think, okay, well, why do bad things happen? Like, why am I living through this thing? You don't necessarily have to think about that, but I have heard it from multiple people who have experienced certain hardships. Like, like, I didn't deserve this. Like, I didn't deserve to go through this. Like, why is the world going after me? Like, everything's coming after me. And I understand feeling like that. Sometimes I'll have a crazy streak of bad luck where it's like one thing on top of another on top of another, and I never really understand like why. But then I started kind of changing my mindset and thinking, okay, the world, nobody's after me. The universe is not after me. There's no reason that I'm sort of experiencing this bad luck, because I bet you millions of others probably are too. But it's just like, this is just how at this point it was written for me. And maybe one day this bad luck that I'm experiencing may be a lesson for whatever it is. And usually it actually is. I'm always able to look back at like sort of the bad things that happen, and I'm like, okay, well, they did sort of teach me something, or they helped me in one way or another. I know that can't be true for every situation, and I'm not saying it is, because I'm not gonna sit here and like justify certain situations from happening. No, what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to justify your situations from happening. You don't need to necessarily find a reason. That's just best to accept, well, it happened. I was just the one who was chosen. It happened. It was written for me. No idea why. It doesn't even matter why it was written. But if you're still getting through to today, then that's something to be so proud about. And it just shows that, like, regardless of what was sort of like written for you on your path, you've been able to overcome all those obstacles, and you're going to keep overcoming everything else, because the way life works is never going to be all sunshine, never going to be rainbows all the time. We will get hurt, like, we will cry, we will have heartbreaks, we will lose money, we will have friendships fall out, we will have fights with people that we love. We will see suffering, whether that's through sickness or whatever it is. Like, no one is exempt from that. It's not that you have a bad life. It's literally that everybody in the world is going to experience these things in one way or another. And you may just experience certain things that someone else isn't. And that's just how it was chosen for you. In terms of like paths and like what I mean by it is written, I remember when I was reading The Alchemist, they used this word in Arabic. I think it's like maktub, and it sort of means like it is written. And I remember growing up, my mom and like my grandma and stuff, they would always say like, oh, taka e pishano, which means like that's just how it was written. Sorry if I'm looking all over the place. When I talk like this, it's so hard for me to focus on one spot. But you know, so many things happen in life, and we're able to sort of connect them all together. And I truly think that that's because our paths are sort of predetermined or pre-written. And yes, we still have the ability to change our paths, but I do think a lot of what we experience has been like lifetimes in the making. For me, I just think the universe has come together and created a sort of path for me that I am to follow. And that's why so many things, especially within the past few months, have been like happening, and I like look into them and I'm like, oh my god, like it actually does feel like I'm literally following a certain path that's like just slowly opening in front of me. Definitely a very abstract idea, but I don't know, it's cool to think about. I do apologize if this video is kind of all over the place, and if I don't even know if I like kind of said what I wanted to say, but I'm gonna end it off here. I hope that was sort of, you know, got you thinking a little bit, maybe exercised your brain a little. I do like having conversations like this a lot, and I actually find it that I talk the most at work with my two co-workers. We talk about like how life works and sort of like the bigger meaning of things all the time, and I love having conversations like that. I really hope this video maybe helped you in one way or another, about like how you can view the different hardships in your life or the good things in your life, and how you can sort of process things moving forward. If you did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, like leave a little story for me in the comments or whatever it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you like videos like this. I'm trying to post more like sit down talk every week. So yeah, I will see you next week.